that we do here.
Oh yeah, starting a little early today.
Starting a little early, man.
It's Friday, baby. It's Friday.
Yeah. And as you can see, you have the countdown timer in the bottom left-hand corner.
Right.
Let me go ahead and do my thing and let the peeps know we're.
Yep. Let them know we're going on a little early today. It's Friday. We're feeling a little froggy.
Yeah.
We got our guy Gertz from the Netherlands in the chat.
What's up, Gert? What's up, Sean?
What's up, Gert? We got our man from the Netherlands in the chat. We got Sean Quintero. You guys are in for a treat today.
The Netherlands.
Yeah, we got our guy right here. He's a loyal follower from the Netherlands.
Wow.
Yeah, we got people from all over the world that watch. Philippines, Netherlands, everywhere, man.
JC, my man. Special Leaf in the house.
Yeah, Special Leaf.
Atwater, regular. Thanks for showing up, brother. Thanks for coming with us a little bit early. It's Friday. Chris Gonzalez with some NHL talk. Looking forward to the show. My man from the Netherlands. I appreciate you, big dog.
I'm digging the theme song.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Make you want to holler.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
Cubole, San Antonio. We are here from the far west side. The far west side, right? Hey, you know me, I'm Rick Fernandez on Twitter and the X. Of course, the man behind the magic, Joe Garcia, back there producing. We got the beautiful and talented Chicana Fuerte here doing videography and producing. And I know Fridays are usually boxing. We know Fridays are usually boxing, and we do have a big fight coming up, Tank Davis and Frank Martin this weekend. But today is a very special treat. We have in studio, in the flesh, actor, producer, writer, activist, puro Chicano cultural icon, Danny De La Paz, a.k.a. Big Puppet. Thanks for coming, brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you say to an introduction like that? Damn.
So, yeah, you know, I got the big VGV in the house, right? The merch. We'll talk about Danny's merch here. Listen, we all know a puppet. We all know American Me, cultural icon, cult classic film, 1992, starring Edward James Olmos, along with Danny De La Paz. And we'll touch in American Me a little bit. However, there's more to Puppet than just American Me. There's more to Danny De La Paz. You know, a world-renowned actor from even in the 70s. I believe he started acting in 1975.
That's right.
18 years old. Worked with a plethora of different talent from silent stars. And we'll get into that because I didn't even know that he's worked with, you know, how many current relevant entertainers can say they worked with silent movie stars, you know? So we're going to get into that. You know, we're going to talk about the films in the 80s that he worked with, Gary Busey, Willie Nelson, those folks. He even did some Alfred Hitchcock, which is pretty interesting. You know, and of course, there's a lot of other producing and writing that he does behind the scenes that people don't know about. And he's very active in the community in Texas and California. He's bouncing back and forth between Texas and Cali, originally from Whittier.
A man of many talents.
Yeah,
man of many talents.
We'll get into all that. We'll talk about the merch that he has and what he's doing these days. Even though he might not be semi-retired? What do you call yourself?
Yeah, I would say that. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, but he's still you know, his semi-retirement is busier than a lot of people's busy. So
So true.
so we'll get into that right now. But
He's in the enjoying life phase of his
yeah,
life.
exactly. What, 67 years young?
Yep.
67 years young.
Yes,
67 years young. So again, bring the comments, bring the questions. We would love to answer them. But yeah, let's start with how did you even just get into acting, like as a child, or actually let's start with your first early days coming up in Whittier, as a kid, your upbringing.
Growing up in Whittier, I lived in a community. My block that I lived on, right? It was directly across the street from my elementary school. So I was maybe 20 yards, and there was the school.
Yeah.
Of course, I was late almost every morning, and the teacher would look out the window and point to my house
Literally.
and say, "How can you be late when you live right there?"
Literally. Yeah.
But in kindergarten, I remember I was in a production of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I was one of the dwarfs. I don't remember which one, but I think that was my very first. When you're in school,
Yeah.
they put you in the school play or the pageant or whatever the heck they're doing, talent shows. And then in junior high school, I remember being in a play in my 7th grade year, but it wasn't until I got to high school when I got serious about it, because as a freshman, I joined the drama department, and the teacher was young. She was like in her late 20s, and she was very enthusiastic, and she recognized that I had talent, and she started putting me into the plays.
So this is early 70s. Right?
Yep.
You're talking
Early 70s.
You
Yeah.
just felt like you had a knack for it. You felt comfortable up there?
As soon as I got into the process of rehearsing my first play in my freshman year, just being a part of the rehearsing and working with other actors and creating your character, I just fell in love with the whole process. I just felt like, you know how that saying goes, get in where you fit in? I just felt like I belonged there. Okay, something tells me this is where I belong.
Right. It's a calling. It's a calling.
In a way, I really believe it is.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So that's in Whittier, right?
That's
Growing
in Whittier.
up there,
But back in those days, in the early 70s, the school had a lot of money. They allocated a lot of money for kids for the arts. So we would get to go on field trips, and we'd have costumes and makeup and sets, everything. It was all bought and paid for, right? They don't really do that today. Kids don't have that kind of opportunity like we did back then. I don't know why that is, but it was great for somebody like me who got to experience it,
Right. Wow. That's an interesting topic, because I think maybe with the growth of like sports and stuff in America, maybe like the schools started allocating more money to sports, which, like you said, that's kind of detrimental to the other folks who, hey, not everyone's a sports. Some, people want to do arts, different things.
Yeah.
That'd be a great avenue to kind of dive into, because I'm sure there's a lot of talented youngsters out there that just need a break, right? Just need that.
We had a lot of guys who played football for the high school.
Yeah.
But in the off season, they would come and be in the final play of the year because they could, by then they had the time, right?
Yeah.
Only because they wanted to be with the girls.
Oh, that's what it was.
There's always a lot of girls in the drama department.
Of course.
And we had some cuties. We really did. We had some cute girls.
Sure. Someone's got to kiss Snow White.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
someone's got to kiss
Snow White,
And why shouldn't it be the quarterback?
Right, exactly. Yeah, not the dwarf or no. What is it? Yeah. That's awesome, man. I love that stuff. Yeah. Hey, quick shout out to our host, Mike Jimenez, who's at home chilling. He took the day off, letting me take the reins. I appreciate you. So shout out to Mike Jimenez.
I can see him floating in the pool now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wow. No, that's interesting. That's good stuff. So Whittier, mom, dad, brothers, sisters.
Two brothers and 2 sisters. One younger sister, and then the rest are older.
Okay. So
because there's like a 10-year gap between me and my oldest, not my oldest, but my next oldest brother, it's almost like 2 families in a way, because they were kind of growing up out of the house when I was still young.
Sure.
But they were all in there. Nobody else really went into acting or whatever, except for my younger sister. She was in the plays in high school, but she didn't pursue it after that. But she did enjoy doing it when she was in school.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah, one of the movies that he has right now that he's been in that ranks very high, that's a fan favorite on Rotten Tomatoes, Barbarossa.
Oh, yeah.
With Gary Busey and Willie Nelson.
Barbarossa, yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And amongst Western aficionados, people who enjoy Western movies, they love that film.
Sure.
They love
Yeah.
Barbarossa.
Yeah. 1982.
Yes,
Yeah,
1982 is when it came out, but it was made here in Texas in 1980.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I always find that interesting because I see we were just talking about the dates, and you'll see a movie that comes out in 1992 or 1993, but like you said, it's years in the making sometimes, right? And
Well,
sometimes afterwards and all that. Like
sometimes movies, the companies that make them, they might go under.
Sure.
During the post-production phase, like
Right.
after the movie is filmed, but they're still editing it,
right,
doing the special effects and music. And during that time, maybe the company goes under
right,
and somebody else
Sure.
buys it. So the movie gets put into this phase that they call turnaround,
Mhm.
where the company that assumes the purchase of the movie doesn't know what to do with it.
right,
They just kind of want to dump it and move on with things that they're more interested in doing. So some films do get caught up in that sort of netherland of, this
Right.
this thing called turnaround.
Mm.
And unfortunately, Barbarossa was one of those films, which is the reason why the delay in the release of it,
right. Oh, I get that. Our guy Hanover Fist, he's always in the chat. Good to see you guys. Josh A, my new favorite podcast. Appreciate you, big dog. Yeah, no, that's awesome. We're sitting here talking with world famous actor Danny De La Paz. So 1975, 18 years old. Is that when you officially started getting into the acting world?
That's when I started getting paid.
Okay, yeah. There's one thing there's a job and then there's getting paid.
Yeah.
There's work and then there's getting paid.
Yeah. Well, there's, those 4 years of high school was just a great training ground to prepare me
Right.
for the world of, professional entertainment.
Right.
And it was a great training for me,
Sure.
because in high school, I was exposed to these amazing writers who wrote these plays. They were all nationalities, but they were so talented and their writing was so beautiful. And it was just of a high caliber, very high level of quality.
Yeah.
And it kind of spoiled me so that after high school, when I got into television, man, I was like shocked at how juvenile and
The writing.
lowest common denominator the
Right.
writing was.
Because the writing's everything, right? I mean, the
was like,
writing's
man, I could write better stuff than this. The hell is this? But that's in my senior year of high school. Before I graduated, I got a job in a musical review, like a half-hour show that we would put on at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh wow, yeah.
2 or 3 times a day. I don't remember now, but it was paying good money for the time,
Right.
And there was a cast of like 9 of us, and I was the youngest and the only person of color in the cast.
Is that right? How old are you then? 18?
18. Just
right.
just
So it's
turned,
like a after school
I
special.
had
type
just
thing.
turned 90. No, I mean 19, 90.
Not yet.
I should be
We'll
so
get there.
lucky.
We'll get there.
I had just turned 19.
Yeah.
But everybody else in the cast was late 20s and 30s.
Yeah, and like you said,
And
only,
it was
only of color.
A musical review. So
Yeah.
we had to sing and dance and act and do these shows twice a day there at the Good Time Theater at Knott's Berry Farm. And this is right when Knott's Berry Farm just started creating rides and becoming more in the Disneyland mode.
Yeah. Wow. So as an 18-year-old Chicano, the only person of color there, I mean, did you feel anything up there with that, or did you notice it, or was it a thing or not?
No,
or
it
just
was
kinda,
not a
you
thing.
were trying to just, hey,
We
I'm
were
performing.
all just actors,
Yeah.
and we were all just doing our thing.
Yeah.
These people were already professionals. They'd already been in television shows and
Right.
small parts in films and a lot of theater, and they were already out there
Sure.
making their living from this.
Right.
So this is my first experience of starting to make my living from it.
Right.
And then I had them to look up to and, to ask questions about, and to see by their example
Right.
what it was like. I don't know if you remember this comedian named Gallagher. Do you remember
Sounds
this
familiar.
guy?
Sounds familiar, but
He got famous for doing this comic routine where he would take a watermelon and a giant mallet and he would place it on a pedestal, the watermelon.
Yeah.
And then he would take the mallet and smash it. And pieces of the watermelon would go into the
Crash
audience.
everywhere. Yeah.
They always had to clean the theater after that. It was a mess. Eventually he got fired. But anyway, he went on to become a big comedic success, this
Right,
guy, Gallagher. But he was in that review.
Wow.
So it was a very interesting cast of people.
Yeah.
And there was
That's
a guy that was, there was a girl in the review. She was a sweetie. I can't remember her name now. But she had a boyfriend. And he was the Maytag washing machine man on the television commercials in the 70s
right,
at
right,
that
right.
time.
That was a
it
big,
was a
that was
big
whole big thing.
It was
the
a big
Maytag
campaign.
I
and
remember
he
that.
was the guy.
Yeah, wow.
His name was Jesse White. He was also in movies that I watched growing up as a kid, because as a kid, you know how today they have to all these platforms have to have content.
Yeah.
Okay. Back in the day, we had the television channels and they needed content.
Right.
So they would show all these old black and white movies that they could get their hands on to fill the content positions.
Right.
And so I grew up watching all these old black and white movies, and I memorized all these actors growing up, and it's just so ironic that later on in life, I got to work with a lot of these people that I watched growing up as a kid.
Sure.
Like on Twilight Zone. I worked with a lot of people that did Twilight Zone episodes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know you were in Alfred Hitchcock, and stuff
well,
like that.
That was in the 80s remake.
Right. Later
the 80s,
on. Later on, yeah.
I wasn't in the 60s original.
Yeah. Well, no, come on, we'll give you some credit,
Thank you.
We'll give you some age cred,
Man, where's my walker? Yeah. Where is my walker?
Where's your caretaker? We need to get a caretaker over here. Yeah. Hey, I'm not too far behind, but
anyway, that's where my love for movies began, was watching films with my mom. We used to watch even foreign movies. They would show them with subtitles.
Right.
I watched a lot of films.
So you were just always connected to film, even as a child.
Yeah, but even not realizing it consciously that it was luring me in. I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that at the time.
I think most people who are really good at what they do, whether it's sports, whether it's film, whether it's lawyer, doctor, there is some connection there, and they don't even know it. It happens. It's innate.
Yes,
it's innate that they don't even know it's happening, and it's it just comes through, and then it's just so natural, and that's what makes it special.
Maybe you were the one in your family that kind of calm things down or settle arguments or bring people back together again, and then you ended up being a lawyer.
Right, exactly. That's right, exactly. And I think that's what it is.
Or you were the kind of person that was very caring when people were sick. Yes. And, you try to help them, and then you became a nurse or a doctor.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I think those things are innate. They're there in there.
I agree.
So, I believe that. So, yeah. So we're talking about your inspirations and people you saw growing up, and you mentioned earlier, but when we were offline, about silent movie star actors that you actually worked with. Talk to us about
this one man. Okay, as a kid, I used to watch him. He was Mexican American. Wow. He was Chicano. His name was Gilbert Roland, and he was from Texas. He was from El Chuco, El Paso.
Oh, El Paso in the house. El Paso in the house. Chuco.
Which is where my mother and father are from. Okay, so that's where they met and married, and they eventually moved to California, where I was born.
Right.
But my older brothers and sisters, most of them were born in Texas.
Right. So that's why you got that Texas love.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gilbert Roland was like an idol to me, because I think subconsciously I would look at him on TV as a kid and think, hey, he's like me. He's Mexican like I am,
Right.
And there wasn't too many people like that you could look up to, right? Sure. So eventually I got cast in that Western with Willie Nelson and Gary Busey and Gilbert Roland. It was his last movie.
Wow.
Can you believe it? He didn't die for another 13 years, but the last film he made before he retired.
Barbarossa.
And I was in it.
1982.
With him.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it was that I brought my mom from California to Texas to visit the set, because I knew she adored Gilbert Roland. This is like one of her favorite.
This is like the Mecca.
She knew he was from El Paso.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And she got to meet him and ride in the car with him in the morning to work. He came around, opened her door for her to get in. I mean, he was such a gentleman.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. She was in heaven.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a beautiful thing to be able to give that to my mom. After she gave it to me, she introduced me to him.
Right.
By making me sit down with her and watch these movies that he was in. And she would always point him out.
Right.
And he was kind of known for wearing a wristband around one of his wrists. I think he had, I don't know, there was some reason why he wore that wristband. Maybe he had arthritis, or there was something about that.
Right.
The reason why he wore the band. But he always wore it. Different kinds of bands in different movies. And he was very dashing and very good looking and just a very talented actor. So it was really an honor for me to be able to give that to my mom after she had introduced me to him.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, we have Hanover Fist he's asking Danny, is the story of Chuco true, where we got the word Pachuco by people saying, vamos Pachuco?
That's what I've heard too. I don't know. I can't say whether it's true or not, but I heard that's where the term came from.
Yeah, and Mario Cavazos he wants to ask Danny, what is his favorite thing to eat at Sazon's Mexican restaurant? He says he's heard you're friends with the owners.
Oh yes. I used to go there back in the day when they were in a different location.
Yeah.
Back then, and I was staying when I would come here to stay. I wasn't living here then. It just so happened I was staying near them, and that's how I happened to come upon them. And boy, those enchiladas verdes were mouth-wateringly delicious.
Oh yeah,
that's all I can say.
Danny's giving his endorsement for Sazon.
Yeah,
I just went there yesterday with my sister-in-law who's visiting from Maryland.
Okay.
So I took her to the new location of Sazon up here by Potranco Road, right next to Stevens High School.
Yeah.
And she loved it. My nephew did too, and so did my son.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was excellent. It was great. I haven't been there lately because I don't really live near there now. But when I'm in the area, if I can, I'll stop by.
Hey, we got the hard-hitting questions about enchiladas. Danny De La Paz and enchiladas, baby.
We're Chicano, dude. Everybody wants to know about la comida.
Food, right? We're getting into the weekend. We're ready to eat.
We're giving them the whole enchilada.
Exactly. Literally. Yeah, Jason Garcia says Happy Father's Day to all. Happy Father's Day, everybody out there.
Oh yeah, Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yeah, the whole enchilada here.
And he also has. You were telling me that he also has a little stand over here at Traders Village.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, Traders Village. God, I love Traders Village. Man, it's so beautiful. It just gives me an opportunity to interact with all the fans.
Yeah.
And I love it. I just absolutely love it. Yeah, I'm on 3rd Street and space number 334. Traders Village open on Saturdays and Sundays. Right now it's kind of hot, but it's a great little place. I got all my merch in there, and it's a place
wearing the hat.
Yeah. We got the big VGV hat.
Yep.
I don't know if we could pull up Steph's video or. Okay, we have I went up there this weekend or last weekend to see Danny. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. You got the movie American Me movie pictures, the hats, all kinds of different things for bobbleheads. We got $25, $35, $45.
There's all kinds of items. They're from $5 on up.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a lot of money, you can still come there and get something nice.
You know what? That's honestly, I walked in there and I was like, oh, this stuff's expensive because it's Hollywood. Thank you, baby.
Here's the teaser video that she did showing what he has.
There it is right there. Look, that's the video, right? That was at his spot. And he signs everything. He signs everything.
And take pictures.
Yeah. You come out to Traders Village. He signs your gear that you buy. He takes a picture with you. I mean, who does that?
But you know what? It's not.
It's a connection of the community.
It's not about the sales.
Yeah.
It's really about the interaction between me and the fans because I have been blessed to be one of the few actors I think that was able to forge a bond with my audience because of the performances that I gave. People tell me all the time, the first thing it says, man, you won't believe this, but I grew up with you.
Yeah.
And they don't even know me, but they feel like they do.
Absolutely.
And that kind of connection is priceless. I mean, I never knew that was on the menu for me in the future, but I'm just so grateful to be in this position. And I want to give back.
Right.
I want to show love to people,
Right.
Because they show it to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like I said, I got this big VGV hat. That's old school. That's OG right there. He's got the tando that he's rocking.
And not everybody's going to know what that means.
No. If you know what this means, then you know.
But the ones
if
that
you know, you know.
Man, they'll be coming out of the closet real fast.
If you know, you know. Yeah. If you know, you know. That's the thing. This is the big VGV, 1979 Boulevard Nights, and we'll talk about that. But Traders Village. If you haven't been out there, please, man, go out there, see Danny. You can even get his merch on ddlpmerch.com if you're not in the area.
Yeah,
you can order.
The video.
Yeah, look, there's the video right there. Steph did that video. So you had stickers, patches,
enamel pins, Blu-rays, DVDs,
Blu-rays, everything, bobbleheads, hats.
Flats, 8.5 by 11 flats.
Look at him, and he's frames. There signing. He's signing the gear. He's talking to fans.
I think he needs to sell some of the hats that he's wearing. I like that. That's my jam right there.
They're all
there. Oh yeah, he sells the tandos.
Oh yeah,
the tanditos, man. That's the vibe.
That's my jam right there.
That's the vibe.
Man.
Yeah, he's got them, man. We got the peacock feather.
I'm so grateful. I want to give a shout out to Summit Hats in Houston and my good friend Quinto because he gave me the opportunity to create this line.
Yeah, there you go. Summit
line
hats,
of
right?
hats,
Look at
man.
that, man.
And
Yeah.
and they're just
That's
a
awesome.
huge success. I cannot tell you. I had no idea. I started off with 2 bookshelves.
Mhm.
Okay, you see them there?
Yeah.
Filled with hats, and now I've got 7.
Wow.
Awesome.
I have no more
Yeah.
space on the walls for any more hats.
I need to go see him at Traders Village.
You got to
man, 'cause
come,
I need
bro.
to get
That's the
those hats,
vibe, bro.
man.
That's the vibe.
Maybe for
That is the
Father's
vibe.
Day, man.
That
Hey, I
is
want
the
a
vibe.
hat,
That's the
bro.
Oh
Father's
yeah,
Day.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
get
the
some
vibe.
people this weekend.
Yeah.
Father's Day weekend.
Oh,
We
yeah.
will definitely get some people.
Yeah,
up in
yep.
there.
You got the peacock
People
feather
want to
on the
buy
side.
hats
Look at
hats
that.
for their
Have to,
dad.
Yep,
and
yep, yep.
and that shirt was given to me by the Pharaoh's Car Club in Japan,
Oh, wow.
nice,
in
dude.
Nagoya,
Awesome.
Japan.
Yeah. Man.
Paradise Alley. See, it says Paradise
There you
Road.
go.
Paradise Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Cross advertising, cross promotion. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh's Car Club in Japan is one of the oldest lowrider car clubs,
That's awesome.
and
man.
they're a branch of the Pharaohs here.
right.
I don't know if we have Pharaohs in Texas. We probably do. I'm just not aware of it.
Right. That's a vibe. No, yeah, definitely check out Danny at Traders Village. Like I said, it's not just go get the merch. You could go get merch anywhere. You talking signing, taking pictures, connecting with the audience,
All of
connecting
it.
with the community. That's what's important, you know.
And just having a good time, just
Yeah.
showing everybody a good time. The night before I have to go to work, right? I get a lot of rest. I want to give everybody a 100%
Yeah.
full
Yeah.
on, full energized,
Hold on.
everyting
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah.
Just
The whole
best of
enchilada.
me. The whole enchilada.
Hey,
I don't want
Mario,
them to come there and see me all tired,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm hungover from the night before. So
Yeah.
that's why people ask me to go out on Friday nights, and I tell
Right.
them, I'm so sorry, man, but I just can't do that,
Yeah.
because I know I'm
absolutely.
going to see 30 or 40, 50 people that day, and
Yeah.
I've got it.
Oh, yeah.
That takes energy to do that.
Yeah.
Mario Cavazos is asking Danny if he's worked with Jesse Borrego or does he know him?
Yes, of course. I've known Jesse for years.
Mhm.
We did a wonderful reading of a play years ago called Division Street, and it was a real true life story of a man who had a drug addiction, and he had his wife and his kids in the car, and he drove onto a dead end street to buy some drugs.
Ooh.
And things went south. And it was a very famous true story. And Jesse and I were in a reading of a new play about that story.
Mhm.
But yeah, Jesse and I used to have a business here in San Antonio called Crazy Vatos
Mhm.
Emporium.
Nice.
It was on South Presa Street
Yeah.
in 2009, 2010. And
Yeah.
but we were in a bad location. It was in the hood, right?
Ah,
Yeah.
We didn't have any walk-in traffic. See, over at Traders, man, there's so many people that go there. I've
Yeah.
got walk-in traffic going, back and forth all day long. But it wasn't like that on Presa. I would, be in there just twiddling my thumbs. and
Right.
yeah.
not knowing what to do with myself because nobody ever came in.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
The location's everything, and Traders
really
Village is
is.
the spot. Traders Village is the spot, and it's funny because, like I said, I was there last weekend, and I watched people. They walk past the stand and they're like, "Oh, that looks cool," and they're like, they think it's just somebody that's selling stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they walk in and they're like, you see the reaction. They start whispering to each other, like,
Hey, is that
they
him?
start pointing. Yeah, they're like. That's him. Like
Yeah,
that's they don't realize it at first. They just think it's a merch
they're
shop,
sort
you
of
know?
perplexed.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
Because they're looking at me and they're looking around. And
Yeah.
I can see them standing there
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
like they don't know what's going on.
Right.
And that's why I made this big banner that's on the outside of
Yeah.
my store
Yeah.
that it says, my name is Danny De La Paz.
Yeah.
I'm the proprietor.
Proprietor. Yeah,
I'm the guy
yeah.
that played puppet. But nobody bothers to read the
Yeah,
It wasn't.
yeah.
Maybe we should put a
Yeah.
sign out there
Yeah.
that says "Step inside and
Yeah.
meet
Yeah.
Danny De La
Yeah.
Paz."
Yeah.
You know,
That's probably what I should
Right,
do. Yes.
yeah.
I-
No,
I
but I
should-
think actually it's kind of cool. I think it's part of the charm. It's a charm where people.
I kind of
kinda-
thought that too.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
What do you
People are
call
like
that?
confused about it.
it's an Easter egg, like they put in the movies.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly. So
Sometimes
I
they
like
come
that.
in and they say, "Hey, so when is this guy Dan De La Paz going to be
yeah,
here?"
yeah. Do you know him? Do you know Puppet? Like
No,
yeah,
I've had
yeah.
people ask me
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
know him.
yeah.
I said, "Yes, I know him very well."
I know him better than I know myself.
I feel so
You know?
embarrassed. I don't know
Oh,
what to say when
my.
they say that, though. It
Yeah.
just throws me off.
That's funny. You know how people are. People
Yeah.
probably ask you stuff like, hey, what's Edward James almost doing tonight?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. You're right.
And it's true. I'm older now too. You
Yeah,
know, so
yeah.
maybe they're used to seeing me at the
Yeah.
age I was in
Yeah.
American Me,
Yeah.
or the age I was in Barbarossa
Yeah.
or Boulevard Nights or whatever movie it was.
yeah.
Our guy Jason Garcia. I'm in Portland. Can I get a few hats shipped? Of course. if you're in Portland, you can visit ddlpmerch.com and you get the hats.
But Mr. Jason, I'm coming your way.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm flying into Portland. No, I'm flying into. I'm flying.
Going to Tacoma.
No, I'm going to Tacoma. How far is that from Portland? Is that far?
I mean, it's in the area, right? It's in the area. It's Washington. I mean, it's got to be somewhere in the area.
Portland's
Oregon. Portland's Oregon, but
Oregon.
Tacoma's Washington. It's up that way, you know.
Jason's one of my friends, so if Jason wants some hats, I'll go over there to Traders Village and I'll ship it to him.
There you go.
Okay,
there you go. Good stuff. Good.
Yeah,
stuff.
and also I can do the the fedoras or the snapbacks.
Yeah.
Oh,
just hit me up on Instagram at Big Puppet.
No, I don't want to take it off, but they're signed.
Yeah,
the inside is signed.
Oh,
under
nice.
the brim.
The inside of the brim is signed.
And I dedicate them there too.
Yeah. Our guy Tex Mc Frank says, "Good show. Who are Mr. De La Paz's favorite pro basketball and football team?" There's your question for you.
You know, I'm not really
a sports guy
into basketball or football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly a baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you
Dodgers.
tell I'm a
Dodgers. The Dodgers. The LA flavors in the house.
Him and Steph are gonna be best friends.
My new hat with the Dodger flavor. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Hey,
it's good. Hey, the Dodger blue looks good on
hat.
you. The Dodger blue looks good on you. Yeah, Steph would look good in this.
I grew up in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Because it was still a relatively young place when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, I saw Sandy Koufax play and Don Drysdale and these legends.
Yeah,
I was just watching them as a kid. I didn't know I was watching legends. I was just at the stadium enjoying the game. But there's nothing like a live baseball game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. True story. We were talking
Stephanie
about that
loves
recently.
to go to the Dodgers
She
games
does.
with Rick.
I took her out there to Dodgers game and we had a blast.
Oh,
we had such a good time.
Now it's like Las Vegas, that stadium. It's like shopping everywhere and bars everywhere and giant screens.
$20 micheladas.
Oh, yeah. It's a good thing I'm not a drinker. Good thing I'm not a drinker.
Hey, those $20 micheladas make me want to holler.
Hey, they don't have no barrio dogs over there in the Dodger Stadium?
Oh, they got barrio dog in a Padre Stadium in San Diego. In Petco. They don't have it at Dodger. But they got the Dodger dogs.
Oh,
they got the Dodger dogs.
No, they don't have those anymore.
Dodger dogs anymore? Oh, my God.
Not the real ones. Yeah, the real ones are gone. They took them out. And they don't have tailgating anymore either.
Oh, man. They just got the $20 micheladas, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Sheesh.
Yeah. Just whip out that credit card and don't worry about the total. Okay?
Hey, next time I go there, I'm gonna be like, put it on Danny De La Paz's. Put it on his tab. Put it on Puppet's bill. Put it on Puppet's tab.
Just set up shop outside the stadium and sell the barrio dogs, bro.
You guys are bad. You're bad.
I love it.
Very, very bad.
I love it. Good stuff, man. Yeah. So listen, like I said, we talked about a lot of the movies we're bouncing around, but this is what I'm interested in. So here we are, 1979. Puppet is 22 years old. 1979.
In 1979,
22 years old. Okay, but that's when the film was released. But obviously there was a lot of works in between there. Films that were released in that year, in that era. We're talking Boulevard Nights. We're talking when Danny played Chuco in Boulevard Nights, which was a cult classic. Other films in that era, we're talking The Warriors.
Yep.
Very cult classic. Everybody knows that, right? East Coast. Those guys were in Coney Island and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Then we're talking Walk Proud. I feel like Walk Proud doesn't get talked about a lot. People don't know about Walk Proud. We're talking Robbie Benson, Chicano movie. Pepe Serna is in that movie.
Yep.
Which is a connection to American Me.
Domingo Ambriz.
Yeah.
Who played Pieface in American Me.
Pieface in American Me. Yeah. He plays Cowboy. He plays Cowboy in Walk Proud.
Okay. Gary Cervantes, who played Big Happy in Boulevard Nights, had
Right.
just made Walk Proud, and then he's the only one that came over to the Boulevard Nights cast.
Yeah. So Walk Proud, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube actually. Go watch it.
It's on Blu-ray.
It's on Blu-ray and YouTube
for the first time, because
Yeah.
it never even came out on a video or on DVD.
Oh no,
Just
1979.
bootlegs.
Yeah, this is 1979.
Well, see, that film, what happened was Boulevard Nights came out and there was a lot of like violent situations that happened in theaters. So they pulled Walk Proud. They didn't release it. It got released, I think, in Texas a little bit in theaters and one or two theaters here or there, but it was a very limited release. And then it never made it to VHS.
Oh wow.
It never made it to DVD.
Wow.
So then a bootleg of it started being passed around. That's what was people watched for years.
Right.
Now it's on Blu-ray and it looks beautiful.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Boulevard Nights and Walk Proud, do yourself a favor, go watch those. Those are precursors to American Me and Blood In, Blood Out. And there's some overlap, and we'll talk about that. There's
something to be said about the older films too, because now everything's having to do with CGI, special effects, but just having a good story having good actors to harken back to just watching those old school films. It's a work of art that I really appreciate and I love watching.
Well, if you want to know why people still love those movies, they're so beloved after all these decades.
Yeah.
It's because of that. A good story.
Yeah.
It's a good story. And there's good acting. The writing of it is very good.
Beautiful.
Now, in the case of Walk Proud, that movie is interesting because Robbie Benson is a young Jewish guy.
Yeah.
And he had blue eyes, right, and white skin. And they basically blackfaced him for the movie. They put brown makeup on him and gave him contact lenses so his eyes would be brown. And then he tried to use his talent to create what he thought was a Chicano.
Yeah.
And but you can see, because I love Robbie. I used to go to the theater, watch him in One-on-One and Ice Castles and Ode to Billy Joe, all these movies that he made that I really admired him in. He did Our Town on television with Glynis O'Connor, who he had acted with in a couple of projects.
Yeah.
But Robbie was very talented, but that role, that was a little too much for him because how it comes off is you can see this actor trying so hard to be something. He just couldn't relax into the role.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy for him like his other roles were. They came a lot easier to him. Even playing that homosexual character in Ode to Billy Joe came easier to him than playing a Chicano. I mean, I'm a Chicano. I thought playing Chico was really hard.
Yeah.
And I see where on television, a lot of people in the 70s would be playing gangsters on Chips and all these television shows that were on at the time. And you could tell they weren't very good, because you could tell they weren't actual gangsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were acting.
Right. Yeah.
But today you have real ex-gangsters who have become actors. And the difference is night and day.
Right.
Because they've lived it.
Yeah.
Like a guy like a Danny Trejo.
And they
guy, right?
and they
like,
bring that reality.
Yeah.
They bring all the detail.
Yeah.
That was the thing about playing Chico on Boulevard Nights. There were so many little details to it.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
I used to,
we were. I mean, I've watched it a million times, but we were watching it the other day, and even though when he's like sniffing paint, right? There's a details of like how you react when you're sniffing paint.
It was
and
those,
how does it?
It was those
affect
real
your-
gangsters
right? Like
that they hired to be in the film
yeah.
who taught me, because
Yeah.
I would just ask them, because
Yeah.
they were all active gang members and they were in the VGB gang with me.
How isn't that amazing that you're so here you are, movie production, $1 million productions. You got to bring in gangsters to make it authentic and real.
Well,
right?
they didn't have to do it. They could
Well,
not.
they didn't have to, but that's what you need to
But the
do to make it.
director was so smart.
Yeah.
He knew that would bring
That's
value. That would bring authenticity.
Yes.
And he needed that authenticity,
Right.
even in the small roles.
Yes.
When you're looking in the background, you see those are real guys.
Yeah.
Those aren't actors.
Yeah.
And they helped me to be more authentic and more real. But that was just such a great role. Everybody wanted that role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was my debut in motion pictures. I'd done a couple of small television parts. Nothing, that big really, but that was my
Boulevard Nights,
breakout role.
Yeah, Boulevard Nights, 1979 was released. Danny, 22 years old, plays Chuco Avila. It's a good story too. It's a story about a family. It's about his brother. It's about his mother. It's about the contradiction of trying to be cool and be with your boys and then have a good time and be on the boulevard, but you're struggling.
It's a story that's as old as time.
It's a story as old as time. It still happens today.
Yeah,
The story.
And,
People can relate to the story today in 2024.
Even deeper than that, it's really the story of a young boy with no father.
Yeah.
And that's what it really is about.
Yeah.
See, the older brother in a way was the father figure, but at this time in the story, the older brother's in love with the woman and wanting to marry her and start a family and move out.
Sure.
So now the youngster that looked up to him as a father figure is feeling a little bit abandoned.
Yeah, you're leaving me, just like everybody else does.
Like everybody else does.
And you react.
So he goes to seek love elsewhere. In this case, it's the VGB
the big VGB.
where he's got love, acceptance, and an identity.
Yeah.
And all that is so important to you when you're young and you're
Right.
coming
yeah.
up.
And like
Yes,
you
definitely.
said, like Joe said, we're talking 1979 to 2024. You could just change it up, and the story still stands.
It's transcendent, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's beautiful about it. Is it's transcendent. It transcends time, because that story is can be told today.
And don't get me wrong, I know that gangsters today and in the 90s and in the 2000s, that their lives are a lot more hardcore and serious in some ways, you know, as far as their involvement in gangsterism, right? They went deeper.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And Chuco doesn't, he's more of a wannabe than anything else, really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was trying so hard to fit in.
Mhm.
And
But he was a smart, caring.
he was smart.
You know what it's like. It's like Ponyboy and the Outsiders.
In a way, it is.
It really is, right? We
Yes.
people know
I
the
love
Outsiders
the
and Ponyboy,
Outsiders.
right?
I love the
that's
Outsiders.
the analogy to me is Ponyboy and the Outsiders. He's smart. He's artistic. He wants to write. He wants to do good in school, but he lives in this world where I have to
Yes.
be this, right?
Yes.
And a lot of us have felt that way.
And he
growing
doesn't
up.
and he doesn't make the right choices
Right,
for
right.
himself because of
Yeah,
that, because
exactly.
of that pressure
Right.
that he feels.
Right.
too.
And that's a lot of people I think can relate to that, where you
But you're
you-
right.
you
That's
feel
what
like
makes the
society
film
tell- yeah,
universal.
right. Society tells you that you need to be this, or that's what you were born into, or that's what you are. But what if I don't? What if I want to be in the arts? What if
Yeah.
I want to act?
Well,
What
a
if I
lot
wanna
of the
do
things
something
that I
different?
liked,
But
I appreciated about a lot of these films that go ahead and showcase like gangsters, Chicano gangsters, gangs and things of that nature. At the core, when you look at these gangs, it's almost the same mentality as a family. At the
It
core,
is.
it's
Oh, yeah.
exactly
It is
the
a
same.
family.
yeah.
Togetherness, being
the
part
core,
of something.
The core values are
Yes.
the same.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes there's some violence
And
that's
be-
involved
and
in that, but the
being
core values is
accepted-
the same.
and
Yeah.
being accepted is so important.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
So I can't
Yeah.
emphasize
Yeah,
that.
feeling
enough,
wanted, feeling accepted,
Mhm.
feeling like I matter, feeling like I'm part of
Yes,
something.
yes.
And the
Um,
one thing that I've always appreciated about like these Chicano films is that it's one thing that a Chicano, a Mexicano growing up being that is like my grandpa always used to tell me, my grandmother, you're born with nothing in this world but your own, but pride.
Mhm.
Be prideful in everything you do.
Right.
Let that come through. Have a passion. And that's the one thing that I appreciate a lot in watching these films is the passion that these actors put behind it,
Mhm.
because that's true to the Mexican culture, being
Well,
Chicano.
yeah.
Those real gangsters that I mentioned earlier that were in the VGV with me, man, what they taught me about how they would take so much time
Yeah.
to press their pants
Mhm.
and their iron their t-shirts
Yeah.
and how
Took pride in
how
it.
they did their hair
Yeah.
and their shoes had to be clean. And I mean, it was just amazing the stuff that the shoes were all polished.
Yeah.
Just they had so much pride in how they presented themselves
Right.
to the world.
And this all again, we talked about, we're juxtaposing family, gangs, and to me, I'm a Marine, right? It's military. It's the same concept. You're
Yeah.
part of something. You're part of something
Yes.
bigger. You're part of a gang, and like I'm a
Yes.
Marine, so I was in that same boat, right? I was a young kid that was wayward, and I needed to do something better. I was a teenage father, and I said to myself, I needed something better, and I joined the Marines. I joined the military,
Yeah.
and it was the same concept because I felt accepted. I
Part of
felt
the family.
Yeah, I felt family. I was ironing and shining my shoes.
Yeah.
No, but it's
Yeah.
it's true. There's something there about that acceptance and that having that father
Yes,
figure, having
I agree.
that somebody there for you. So as a teenager, as a young kid, you feel lost in this world. And that's regardless of race, color, creed, gender, and all that kind of stuff. You want to be accepted. You want to feel that, and that's what makes these things powerful. I believe.
Look at Mario Cavazos. He's going to watch Boulevard Nights and Road Dogs this
Road
weekend.
Dogs is another one. Yeah, Road Dogs is
yeah.
another one. Yeah.
Okay, let's
talk
give a
about Road
shout
Dogs.
out to the writer director Alfredo Ramos. I met Alfredo in 1993. He wrote a beautiful play about four Chicano ex-Brown Berets who haven't seen each other in 20 years, and they've gone their separate ways, and they come together for the death of one of their friends. And after the funeral, they all go into this garage, the four of them, with a bottle of tequila, some beer, and a guitar. And they start remembering and talking about the past. But it's not pretty sometimes because there's a lot of things that were left unresolved about the past. And the tequila starts bringing them up. They start bubbling up to the surface. It's only an hour and 7 minutes long, this play. Has no intermission. But man, audiences just love it. It's funny. It's dramatic. It's moving. It's very emotional. Very, very beautiful play. Anyway, Alfredo Ramos wrote that play. That's where I met him. And then after that, we did an independent feature called Suckers, which was my first attempt at comedy. I'm okay in it. You know, there's moments when I see that comedy's hard, man.
Yeah.
Comedy, I'll be honest, comedy kicked my ass.
Wow.
Comedy taught me a few things. It really did. You know, and there's moments in the film where I'm quite good.
Yeah.
But then there's other moments where it's like, oh, you know, what do they call it? Cringe.
Cringeworthy.
Cringeworthy.
I actually have a friend of mine. His name's Orlando Torres. He moved from San Antonio to Dallas, and he's a stand-up comedian. And he's, you know, trying to make his way into the comedic realm. But it's hard, you know. I know him as my friend, and he'll tell me some jokes and whatnot. But seeing him on stage in his own element doing that, I'm like, you're brave, man, because you're pitching to the room, and you have to have that interaction from the audience, and you put a lot of effort into your material.
And that confidence,
Yes.
the confidence to stand there and do that.
Yeah.
You have to own the space.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
comedian. I have fear of stand-up comedy. It terrifies me. The idea of standing there in front of people, I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Wow.
Yeah. They're brave.
Give me the script. Give me the script and tell me
Yeah.
who I am. But
Yeah.
don't put me out there with nothing. You know, I just wouldn't be able to survive.
Yeah, it's like,
Wow.
what if you don't get that interaction back and you
Yeah.
put so
Oh.
much energy into
Yeah.
that joke?
Yeah.
They need me alive.
You think you're gonna get
Yeah.
a reaction and you get nothing.
But anyway,
Nothing.
at Road Dogs is another movie that Alfredo directed. We also did Kill Capone together.
Oh,
With a K.
nice.
Kill
Nice.
Capone with a K, which I think is on. I think it's on Hulu now.
Yeah, I think I've seen that
Mhm.
movie,
Yeah, I
that
think
film
it's-
on
I think it's
Hulu.
Hulu.
Yeah.
But Road Dogs is really a good film. You know who else is in Road Dogs? Is Emilio Rivera from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, that's
Yes.
my man right there. That's my guy. I love
And he's
that guy.
so good in
He's
Road
awesome.
Dogs.
Yeah.
He's
He
good
plays
people.
Big Joe.
He's good people.
Yeah, he's really, really good. I wanted to mention about stand-up comedy too. That
Please.
When I first came to live here, I moved here about 4 years ago.
Mhm.
They have this thing here called the Ha Festival. Ha Festival. It's a comedy festival. I got off the plane and I had to go straight to the theater because I was going to be a special guest there. And there's all these comedians. They get up there, and I was, backstage watching them all and enjoying them. But then this one young kid got up, and oh my God, it takes a lot to make me laugh. And this kid had me on the floor. His name is Ralph Barbosa.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at him and said, that kid is going
Texas
to be
boy.
a big
That's a
star.
Texas boy.
He got up there with no effort at all. He could not see the scenes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was so relaxed and so like monotone and so comfortable
Yeah.
and just hilarious.
In his element.
In his element.
Yeah.
And from
That's
that
his
moment,
calling,
I told
man. That's his
and then
calling.
after
Yeah.
that, over the years, you just see him getting bigger and bigger and
Mhm.
bigger. I mean, he's huge now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank God. I love you, Ralph, wherever you are.
Shout out Ralph Barbosa.
I didn't discover you, but you just made such an impression on me that first time at the Hot Festival.
That's awesome, man. That's good stuff.
And you know who the host was? The MC was Emilio.
Oh,
'Cause
nice. Yeah.
Did you know Emilio was a stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was
Wow.
also
Yeah.
hilarious. That's not when I met Emilio.
Yeah.
Actually, Emilio was on the set of Boulevard Nights
Is that right?
when he was 17 years old.
Wow.
I didn't know he was
Mhm.
there. I didn't know him
Mhm.
because he's from the barrio we were
Mhm.
shooting in.
Oh, wow. He was just there as an extra.
Watching.
Oh, yeah.
No, he was
Oh, just
watching.
watching. Wow.
He was a real hardcore
A real
gangster.
Yeah. OG. He's real G.
You know, one of the viewers that was watching right now, they were asking us about what was it like to also work with the Edward James Olmos, you
Oh
know?
man, I met Edward James almost in 1977.
Wow.
Before Boulevard Nights.
Yeah.
Okay, before
Zoot Suit. When was
Before
Zoot
Zoot
Suit?
Suit.
Yeah.
Right before Zoot Suit.
Ooh.
Because a friend of mine, she was in a play. She was an actress in a play, and he was in the play with her. So I went to go see her in the play, and then afterwards she introduced me to him because she thought he was going to go places.
Yeah.
Boy, was she right about that.
She picked
The
that
next
one, right?
year,
Yeah,
Zoot Suit, and boom, that was his breakout
Mhm.
character in that play, and that play was huge.
Yeah. He's such a good actor too, because I've seen a lot of his other work, you know, as him coming up and going through the ranks and rising to fame. And one of the things that he's done so well is him being able to pivot and transition into these characters that he plays. Case in point, he went to play Commander Adama and Battlestar Galactica, which is a
Yes.
really beloved sci-fi series. One of my favorites because I'm a big Battlestar Galactica fan. As you can see, I have a Viper and a
Yes,
Cylon
I
right here.
noticed that.
You know,
Yeah.
and I love that
I thought
series.
it was just a case of Arrested Development.
No, but I loved him as playing Captain Adama in Battlestar Galactica.
He's very beloved
Yeah.
for that because he does
Versatile.
a lot of the sci-fi shows.
Yeah.
And then, he was also in, are you ready? The original Blade Runner.
Really,
Wow.
I remembered that.
Wow,
See,
really?
most
I
people
remember
forget
that
about
now.
that.
I
He
don't
was
remember.
an
I didn't know that.
officer.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and he
Yes.
speaks like a weird language. It's an amalgamation of several languages that
Yes.
he created himself.
Wow.
Ridley Scott, the original Blade Runner.
Yeah, I love that film. It has Harrison Ford in it,
Yep.
and I have it on DVD and in Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks beautiful in Blu-ray
Oh
now.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's in 4K now. too.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. And then he was also, you got to see the Ballad of Gregorio Cortez,
Ah, okay.
and he's also in Alambrista.
Yeah.
Alambrista is a great little movie from 1977, the year that I met Eddie, and it's produced by the guy that produced American Me. So it's
Yeah.
the American Me team that made it,
Mhm.
but it stars Pieface from
Ah,
American
okay.
Me, Domingo Ambris,
Yes.
and Frog from Colors, Trinidad.
Oh, man.
yeah,
Trinidad
yeah,
Silva,
Color
and they are
Trinidad, yeah.
excellent.
Wow.
Alambrista,
Yeah.
Alambrista. It's on Blu-ray,
You got to check that out.
and it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's probably on some platform somewhere. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
But,
Streaming platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the Ballad of Gregorio Cortez is another movie where Eddie's great in it. Yeah.
I gotta check that out too because
Yeah.
I love me some Edward James Olmos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen
Oh,
those, I often show them in my store on my little
Nice.
video
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of Edward James Olmos, let's get into American Me. Let's get into American Me.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. There's some controversy about the accuracy of some of the stories there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what say you, or what do you think about that? Or
Sometimes things are true, but the people they're about don't want you to know they're true.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much all I can say about
no,
it.
no, that's a touchy subject. We don't want to, we want
Yeah.
we want you to get to 90.
Sometimes things
We don't
are-
want you to get to
sometimes
90 years
there's
old. So we're not,
truth.
yeah.
but people don't want you to tell the truth.
Well, you got to understand that the movie is based on the leader of the Mexican
And
mafia,
it took liberties. It did take some
Right,
liberties. I'm
sure,
not saying it
sure.
didn't.
as do a lot of
But there's
Hollywood movies.
a
I mean,
lot.
they're not-
There's a lot of truth
Sure.
in it. There is.
yeah.
And for it to still be so beloved after all these years. You know what's weird about that movie is when it came out in 1992, right?
Mhm.
Before it was released to the general public, they would have screenings,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And I remember the very first time I went to go see it, everybody walked in and we're all gabbing away and talking, and everybody's all up and excited.
Chipper. Yeah,
And then the movie ended, and it was like you were at a funeral.
yeah.
It was dead
Yeah.
silence.
Oh my.
It was such a downer.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, oh my God, this movie is going to tank.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see this. Yeah.
They'll see it once,
Yeah,
but they
like,
won't
I'm
want to
done.
see
Yeah,
it again.
Yeah.
And then I also thought, what am I going to tell my mother?
Oh man.
Man, what if she sees
Yeah.
this film? She's
Yeah.
just going to, because she was a born again Christian at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Hey, let me ask you this, Danny. How did you get cast in that movie? Or how did that come about? How did you get the first time somebody reached out to you, said, hey, we want you to work on this?
Okay.
How did that happen?
Picture us in 1978, me and Richard Iniguez, who played my brother,
Yeah.
and Marta Dubois, rest in peace, God
Mhm.
bless you, Marta, who played Shady,
Mhm.
and myself are in the 72 Monte Carlo. We're shooting a scene in the car.
Yeah.
And in between breaks, they're resetting the lights. So they don't want us to get out of the car. They want us to stay there. So we stay in the car, and we're talking about future projects, something that actors do when they're together, right?
Mhm.
Latino actors.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many projects for
Yeah.
us, right?
Hey, we gotta
Yeah.
get.
So we were like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
what's in the pipeline? What have you heard about? Well, we talked about American Me. At that point in 1978, the
Wow.
American Me script had been around for 5 years.
Wow.
Hold on.
Some of us had read
that.
it, some of us had read it, and some of us
70s.
hadn't. Okay. But we knew that it was one of those projects. You'd see it in print every now and then, Variety or Hollywood Reporter, the trade papers.
Yeah.
They would mention it, that it was going to go into production, but it never did, right? So I was thinking, okay, maybe there's a good role in there
Yeah.
of this part of Little Puppet. I was 22. I would have been perfect for the part, right? Well, so much for that, right? So then the 70s turn into the 80s and nothing. Nothing.
So
with,
you were originally looking
but-
at Little Puppets role.
yes,
Wow.
but Edward James Olmos was becoming a bigger star.
Yeah.
He got Miami Vice, and that was huge. Miami Vice, and he started getting some mojo.
Yeah.
Okay, so we come into the 90s. I'm at a party, okay, and Edward James Olmos is there.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's 1990, right? And he says, "Hey, I need your number, your phone number. Looks like we're going to do American Me." I was like, American Me? I forgot all about it. It'd been somewhat long, you know? And at that point, I think I was 31
Yeah.
years old. So forget Little Puppet. I was beyond hairline receding. Yeah, Little Puppet.
Little Puppet's young and up and coming. He's
But ironically, when Daniel Villarreal played Little Puppet, he was that age of 30
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah. He just looked a little.
He just
a little
looked
less-
even younger
yeah,
than
yeah,
I did
yeah,
when
yeah,
I was
yeah.
30, which I thought was a miracle, right? But that's where it started, was Eddie telling me, and sure enough, he did call me and he sent me the script. And I read that script and I could not believe it. I was like, oh my God, this is so intense.
Mm.
This is, and I even spoke to him on the phone. I said, what do you think? I go, I can't believe you're going to tell this story.
Yeah.
You know, it's just hardcore. He's like, well, you know, this is a cancer in our community,
Yeah.
and we need to look at this. We need to take a hard look at this and stop being in denial about it and brushing it under the carpet. So I thought, okay. So then he asked me, okay, what role would you like to play? And I said, well, if you're asking me if I had my druthers, I'd like to play, you know, Big Puppet.
Yeah.
Because this script was long. There was more in there than ended up being in the film.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a long movie.
Yeah.
Maybe not as long as Blood and Blood Out, but it is a
Yeah.
long movie.
Fact.
And there's a lot of characters that come in and
There's a lot
out.
going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot going on. A lot
Yeah.
to unpack
Right,
for an
right,
audience.
right.
And I'm thinking to myself, no one's ever going to remember any of these people except for JD, Santana, and
Yeah,
Mundo,
Mundo.
because
Yeah,
they're the
yeah.
main ones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But there was that one character, the older brother, who had to do something so heinous, so unbelievable.
Mhm,
Yeah.
I thought to myself, man, if you could do that and do it in good quality,
mhm.
people will remember that, because
Yeah.
that's something that you don't see every day.
Mm.
No.
A brother,
not at all.
you know, killing another brother.
Yeah.
And I told him I'd like to play that part. So what he did was, instead of having auditions where you go in one at a time and read from the script or whatever, he just called everybody in at the same time, sat us around a round table with scripts. Everybody had a script, and we started reading the script out loud. And then
Wow.
about 10 pages in, he'd say, okay, now, Danny, you switch with so-and-so. You read this and you read that. And he would switch us playing around. But it was so comfortable and so relaxed. I didn't feel the pressure of just one-on-one,
Yeah.
because we were all there.
Yeah.
And I remember I was reading the part of Puppet, right? And everything was going good. And then he said, okay, now Vic, the one that ended up playing Cheetah, the one who says, you know, you're so cool, I'm going to call you Culo.
Yeah.
Okay, he told him to read
Yeah, yeah,
Puppet. And
yeah.
I remember thinking, oh, no.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
he's
damn,
such a good actor,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
That, oh
hey,
my
yeah,
God, I'm gonna
yeah.
lose it, you know.
Yeah. Real quick, let me pause there. Shout out to my son, my oldest son. He loves that part. Right, he talks about that part.
Oh,
about,
yeah.
You're so cool. I'm gonna call you a culo, right? So shout out to my boy Rask and Alejandro. I think they're watching. But
Nice.
they love that
And
part,
Vic
but yeah,
Trevino,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
lives here in
Yeah.
San Antonio.
Yeah,
He's a native here.
yeah.
But yeah, so you know, the getting cast
So
in
he
that,
almost got the part.
in that.
Almost.
Well, everybody read those parts.
Yeah.
But basically, what I'm trying to say is that Edward James almost handpicked
Yeah.
everybody for the major roles.
Meticulous.
Yeah,
Meticulous,
because
yeah.
this was probably the most important project of his career.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, he was director, producer, co-writer. I mean, this
Yeah.
was his
This is
baby.
Oh yeah.
He worked out to get ready to shoot
Oh,
this,
yeah, man.
not just for playing the role of Santana, because he was the star and the director,
Mhm.
but to have the stamina
Mm.
to get through shooting in the prison, shooting in East LA, the 10-week schedule, pre-production, post-production, the advertising and marketing afterwards. It was a lot.
The press, having to
Mhm.
talk with
All
all the
of
press.
it. All of it. Until his throat was shot, you know.
Yeah.
Man. Wow.
But that's how he did it. He handpicked everybody in that film. And then, I would recommend people to him for some of the smaller roles, like the shoe salesman.
Mm-hmm.
He was a guy that I had worked with in a play reading, and he was from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I recommended him for that part. And he ended up getting that role.
Nice.
Mm.
That's cool.
Well, yeah,
man.
because you look at American Me. I mean, again, you got Pepe Serna. I mean, you got legends in there, right? You got, the JD's.
Oh yeah, William Forsythe.
William Forsythe. Yeah,
I mean,
you got, you're
how
talking.
many white guys can you get to do a role like that? They lucked out with him. He was so perfect.
Yeah.
He was so engaging and riveting, and he had the charisma for it too.
Yeah,
because those characters had to have charisma. Him and Santana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that they were charismatic people just in life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got Jacob Vargas who plays the young Paulito, or Paulito. Like, this was a springboard for a lot of Chicano artists. It really was. It really was, man. So it really was. So we're talking about
Evelina Fernandez that played Julie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's a writer, by the way.
Yeah,
amazing writer.
Right. Wow.
I've done many of her plays. Mm-hmm. She's brilliant.
Yeah,
her writing is just incredible.
Yeah,
they have a theater, the Los Angeles Actors, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name right. Latino Actors Theater in downtown LA.
Yeah. Wow.
And they've had it for many, many years, and it's just a great place.
Right. So then there was a little bit of a parallel between Blood In, Blood Out and American Me. They were filmed around the same time, right? They were kind of cross.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it began as one project. This is what I know about it. It was one project, and the people that were involved in the project disagreed about, I think, how the story was going to be told. Mm-hmm. So then that gene, if you will, split and became two projects. And that's how we got Blood In, Blood Out, which became Bound by Honor.
Right. Yeah.
And American Me.
Wow. That would have been like a 2-part film, or maybe more.
Oh yeah, that would have been an epic. That would have been a whole long epic. Hanover Fist says the Japanese dude was cool in that movie. I do remember that guy. He said the Japanese guy was cool.
Oh, he had such great integrity because in the movie Santana saved his life by letting him be part of the group.
Right.
And he showed his gratitude by refusing to participate in the murder of Santana. He wasn't going to do that. Betray his friend, even though he knew he himself was going to get taken out.
He knew he was in peril.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but that just shows you.
Yeah, that goes back to those loyalties.
That is integrity. That's integrity.
Wow.
Yeah, we got a lot of good representation too here now in the city of San Antonio. Mm-hmm. We have some great writers, and Shea Serrano doing his thing now, representing the Chicano
city
culture.
Is amazing when it comes to the arts. It's just popping. That's how I describe it.
Oh yeah, I love that.
San Antonio's
popping. I love that. I think we got 15, 30, 20 minutes before we wrap up. So speaking of that, talk about your migration from Cali out here because you live here now. You live here in San Antonio.
I go back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
But my home base is here
now. Yeah. People don't know that. Yeah. So talk about how that happened. I know you're bouncing between both.
Well, you know that movie we talked about earlier, that Western Barbarossa? Yeah. That brought me to Texas for the first time. Mm-hmm. That actually it was Seguin, a film that we shot here. Mm-hmm. Pepe Serna, Edward James Olmos is in Seguin. It was a PBS American Playhouse film made for public broadcasting system. Wow. And it shot in Texas, and that's where I got to see San Antonio, and I kind of had a love affair with San Antonio from the first time I met her. I was like, wow, I like this town.
I love that.
And in the 80s I came once or twice, but in the 90s I started coming and to do Fiesta.
Yeah. Can you pull up that picture?
I would bring merch, and
there was I met Danny in 1997 at Fiesta.
I think I started doing Fiesta in 96.
This is a picture you have on the computer right now?
On my Twitter. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that cool?
Yeah.
It's on my ex. It's probably I had put the one of us from Traders Village, and then the one.
And then that taught me how many fans.
Yeah.
That there was out here.
Yeah.
I didn't really realize that. There were so
we're talking about 1997. Man, I was about 14, 15 years old, and Danny was out here for Fiesta. And you got to think about the times. This is before internet, before all that.
Right before.
Yeah. Nowadays you can.
There
There
you
it is. Look at that. That's lazy.
Wow.
That's lazy and Danny right there. That's the Pachuco lazy
That
days.
is
Look
incredible.
at that. 1997. So nowadays you can just order whatever you want online. You can order something from Cali, from Japan, from Russia. If
Oh, you
want.
couldn't do that back
Back
then.
then you couldn't do that. So what he
No,
was
sir.
bringing in 1997 was the Cali cultura to Texas. The straight clowning,
The flavor,
the FB County,
the flavor.
the Ben Davis, right? Like all
Yeah.
that stuff that wasn't here before. So he would come out here to Fiesta, and like that was your only opportunity to get Ben Davis, FB County, straight clowning, like that Cali flavor
you'd
here.
see all those booths there.
That was like it was like
Because
exclusive.
I was part of a contingent of
Yeah.
people who came from Cali. It
Right.
wasn't just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of guys that had those lines, those clothing lines.
Yeah.
And they would do so well out here
Yeah.
because people really appreciated
Yeah,
that stuff. You know?
exactly. Yeah.
And like you said, they couldn't get it here
right.
or anywhere near here.
Sure.
And without the internet or, you know, the
Right.
the shop that, you know, ate the world, Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't just go on
Yeah.
there and order something
Right,
like that
right.
back then.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. Was you know, he was coming out here in the late 90s, bringing the Cali flavor to Texas. It's a cross, it's a merge, you know, of
Yeah.
Texas to Cali. And now, you know, again, now you make San Antonio home.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I came out here so many times. And then like I said, in the early 2009, 2010, Jesse Borrego and I opened that store, Crazy Vatos Emporium.
Mhm.
And then I lived here.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, I can do this. I can function here very well. I like it. I like this town
Yeah.
and the people in it. And yeah, you know, this is the first place I lived in where police officers referred to me as sir. I never had a
Yeah.
cop call me sir before. I was like, the first time it happened here in San Antonio, I was like, did he just say what I thought he said? Because I wasn't used to being treated that way.
Yeah.
In Cali, they don't really treat you like that, you know. But not to put down the police in California, but just to say that there was a difference.
Mhm.
There
Yeah.
was a difference.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
So
That's
no,
good
but I love it here. I love. I feel very grateful for the support that everybody gives me at the shop, you know, and I really feel like coming here was the thing that I needed to do, you know, for my golden years to spend them here.
Yeah.
In San Antonio.
Absolutely. No, man. San Antonio loves you. You know, we love Puppet. We love
Yeah.
the vibe. You know, again, American Me is a cult classic, Boulevard Nights. You know, we're proud to have you here with us and
you know, there's a
living
few
amongst
other
us.
films I'd like to recommend to people
Please,
too.
please.
If you like sci-fi, I can recommend a really popular cult film. It's funny, a lot of my films develop cult followings for some reason. I don't know why that is. This one's called Miracle Mile. And I have a very small part in it. It's very 80s. It was made in 1987, but it is such a beloved film by so many people who love sci-fi films.
Wow.
And there's even a documentary about sci-fi films that features that Miracle Mile too.
Okay. Yeah, go check out Miracle Mile.
Miracle Mile.
Yeah.
It stars Goose from the original Top Gun,
Wow.
Anthony Edwards,
Mhm.
and Mare Winningham, who was in the 80s. She was the queen of television movies.
Mhm.
Ah.
Very, very good actress. And it was written and directed by my good friend Steve DeJarnett. And it's won all kinds of awards. And we have screenings of it all the time that people come out. It fills houses when there's a screening of it. It'll
Wow.
fill a big house. People love it so much.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
On IMDb. It was made in 1988.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was released.
Released.
in
Released.
1988.
Released.
Yeah,
Made in
released.
87.
Yeah.
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 And what is it on Rotten Tomatoes? Does it say?
Let's see. On
Mhm.
Rotten Tomatoes. I haven't checked it out on Rotten Tomatoes. I checked it out on IMDb, but I'll do it right now.
Yeah, check out Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I should be up there, I think.
Let's go
Should
ahead and
be.
check that out right now.
Yeah.
We'll do it live, man. I'll go ahead and say it.
Let's
Yeah, let me
see.
see.
Let's
Let me
all
see.
see together. Right,
All
yeah.
right. So here we go.
Let's
So
check
this is Miracle Mile right here.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. It ranks high in the tomato meter.
91%.
91%.
Yeah.
what 91?
91%.
I thought it was going to be in the 80s. Oh my
91%. Rotten Tomatoes.
That tells you,
There you
know,
go. Sci-fi.
it's a really well done film.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, they recreate, okay, the self-destruction of Los Angeles without CGI,
Yeah.
okay, to the point where a few years later we had the LA riots And when you see this movie that came before that, it looks just like it.
Wow.
You will be shocked at what they were able to do with no special effects. It was all real time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. I highly recommend it. I really do.
Yeah, and it was like it's a post-apocalyptic. It says,
Yes,
you know,
post-apocalyptic.
yeah. So this is one that I have not seen, but now that you're recommending it, I'm gonna go back and watch
if
this.
you like sci-fi,
you love
Yeah.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not aliens or anything like
Oh
that.
yeah, no.
But it's just the panic of knowing that, you know, nuclear warheads are coming your way. You've got
Yeah.
like 80 minutes
Mhm.
to figure out what you're going to do.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's intense
Wow.
from the beginning. And it has the music of Tangerine Dream, which is so fabulous.
Nice.
They're just amazing. Their music, they've done a lot of music for films, but their music in this particular film is just brilliant.
Yeah, I used to love the old 80s, the early 80s movies because they all had that synth wave
Yeah.
music in the background
That's
to
what this
them.
has.
That's so popular now
Mhm.
that they're sampling and you know, like
Yeah.
performers like The Weeknd, for example.
Yeah.
They go ahead and use that synth
Mhm.
wave in their music.
Everybody samples
Yeah.
Tangerine Dream. It's sampled
Yeah.
like crazy and all kinds of stuff. It's when you hear them, you're gonna
Yeah.
go, oh, I've heard that piece. I've
Yeah.
heard that piece. Yeah.
Wow. That's definitely one that, you know, everybody's watching right now too. If you're looking for something new to watch that you maybe not have heard of before, check out this one, Miracle Mile.
Miracle
man.
Mile.
I have a
Miracle
small
Mile.
role in it, but
Wow.
in the one of the key scenes that really gets the film going. It's the scene that really lights the fire of this movie, and it's a long scene, and I'm in that scene.
Nice.
Even though you may not
Nice.
recognize me,
You're,
Yeah.
you're a little younger, right?
no, not younger.
Oh,
I'm a
just you're
different
different?
gender.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Oh, hey, we don't. Hey, don't spoil. No spoilers. No spoilers from a 1988 film.
Oh, man.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I love it. Hey,
Hey,
all
what
right,
else? What else? What did we forget about? Is there anything we forgot that you wanted to touch? I'm
man.
sorry.
No. We're good. We're good. What I
Get
so
carried away.
no. We're good. We're
What
good.
is it that- what is-
Our guy Marco Vaso said, "When is Danny going to be in Traders Village? Because I need to go get some merch. Because I know you got some stuff in Tacoma, Washington soon.
Yeah,
So talk
but-
about when you're going to be gone and when you're going to be here.
Okay, this weekend I will be at Traders Village.
This weekend.
This coming
Okay,
weekend,
this weekend,
Father's Day
yeah.
weekend, and then I won't be there for the next 2 or 3 weekends.
Okay, so maybe until July.
Yeah, till
Catch Danny at Traders
mid-July.
Village. Catch Danny at Traders Village this weekend, Father's Day weekend,
or mid-July.
or mid-July.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you got going on in Tacoma?
They're having a huge car show there.
Mhm.
The Impala's magazine
Cool.
is throwing a huge car show in Tacoma, which is it's really rare to have a car show in Washington.
Mhm.
So it's drawing a big crowd.
Yeah.
Ticket sales are going well, and I think it's going to be a really big show. You know,
Nice,
successful
nice.
show. And I really haven't been out to Washington that much, so
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to going someplace I don't normally go.
Yeah. branch
Washington's
out.
beautiful,
Branch
man.
out.
And,
little
you know,
bit, yeah.
and meeting the people that are
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. You're gonna have a bunch of fans there that you
Yeah.
didn't think that you had there. So
yeah, absolutely.
So what other stuff are you involved in? I know you're involved in car shows.
I
involved in
produced
some-
a new documentary, okay, that's on the festival circuit right now.
Mhm.
It's called Nelly Queen, The Life and Times of Jose Saria. Jose Saria was the first gay man, Latino,
Mhm.
to run for public office
Mm.
in the state of California in 1963, I think it was.
Mhm.
This is about 11 years before Harvey Milk
Mhm.
that Sean Penn plays
Yeah, I
in the
remember,
movie.
Mhm.
So Harvey Milk stands on this man's shoulders. This man changed the laws in California, in San Francisco, you know, that allowed gay people to congregate together,
Yeah.
to live together in apartments or whatever. I mean, he was responsible for helping to change and make San Francisco into the mecca for gay people that it became later on.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, he ended up having to leave San Francisco because he could no longer afford to live there. But anyway, this
Expensive.
documentary is about him.
Yeah.
And it came out so good. I'm so proud of it.
Wow.
Audiences love it.
Yeah.
You
So
don't, have
that's
to,
your
you don't
latest
have to
work.
be gay or gender non-conforming or none of that stuff to enjoy it.
Mhm.
It's a story about a human being that had a lot of courage
Yeah.
at a time when, you know,
But it's tough to have that courage.
Yeah, it's not like it is today.
No,
Things
you're like
were
your life's
very,
in danger.
You could get
thrown-
a step.
you can get thrown in jail. You could get thrown to an institution. You could get lobotomized. I mean, there was a lot of things that could happen to you back then.
Right.
Yeah, it's
People
like
will
about
be shocked. Let's
yeah.
put it that way. You'll be shocked
Yeah.
to find what the
Yeah.
world was like back then
Yeah.
in terms of how it viewed homosexuality.
Wow.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah.
all about inclusion and equality. No
Yeah.
matter what your beliefs are, your sexual preference or what not,
Yeah, maybe
everybody
there's
deserves
a,
to be
a little
treated as
too
equal.
much inclusion
Yeah.
now. We've gone inclusion overboard.
Yeah.
Inclusion overload.
Yeah, but I'm saying
yeah,
at the core, it's like everybody just wants to be treated as a human being.
Yes,
You know?
yes, that's the
Yeah.
bottom line. That's the bottom line. But it's a beautiful documentary. It took 7 years out of my life.
Wow.
But because they take time,
Mhm.
documentaries. They're not like making a feature film. It's a feature, but it's not like a like a regular story
Yeah.
or whatever. Because you're creating the story through all the interviews
Right.
and
Yeah.
all the footage
Putting it
that
all
you
together.
have.
Yeah.
Putting it all together,
Put it
you
all
figure out
together,
how to tell the story. And the man's life was absolutely fascinating. So it was a challenge. But I got to give it up to my friend Joe Castell. He's the director. He's the one that put it all. That edited him and I edited it together.
Yeah.
But it was his baby, and I came on board as a producer, and I'm very proud of it.
I like watching documentaries. I just finished watching one on Paramount Plus. Actually, it just was released about a week ago. It's called How the Music Got Free, and it's showing the advent of me and Rick.
Mhm.
We grew up in the advent or the age of high speed internet. Going up from dial up to high speed internet, and it shows what happened with the copyrighted music at the time. How it all started, the movement with Napster, LimeWire, and all that.
I remember all that.
And how the music now is so much different
Everything
from
changed.
back then.
Yeah,
How it
yeah.
is free, but it's really not free. Every time you play an artist's song on a streaming service, Spotify or whatnot, they're getting paid for it. But it took a lot of time to get from where it started in its infancy all the way up until now.
Yes.
And they talked with like Eminem. They were talking with like 50 Cent. They hired Lars Ulrich on there from Metallica. All that. They were showing a lot of things that happened. It was really well done. So I love the stories that documentaries tell.
Yeah, I love documentaries too. It's some of my favorite form of entertainment or whatever.
Yeah.
I love to watch documentaries.
Yeah, because it was real. It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our man Hanover Fist says, "What music is Danny De La Paz listening to these days?"
Oh my God, my musical tastes are so eclectic. I love so much music. I really love Jacob Collier. I know you guys might not know him. He's from England. He's a genius, an absolute musical genius. He does these shows live and in person. He gets the whole audience to sing, and it's just spiritual. It's so powerful. But he's amazing. If you want to hear something about Jacob Collier, go on YouTube and put his name in and listen to his version of Lionel Richie's All Night Long, and you will just be blown away.
Wow.
But I love the new Stones album, Hackney Diamonds. Oh my God, that record kicks ass.
And they're still doing it at their age.
81, 82, and it's just so modern, and it's so it's some of the traditional Stones fans don't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, come on, man, we're not in the 60s and 70s anymore.
They have to evolve.
You have to evolve.
Yeah.
You've got to do it. But it's just it's awesome. I like it. It's so good. I just turn it up. That's all I can do is turn it up and just go with it.
Did you catch Lionel Richie? He came through San Antonio not too long ago, a couple weeks ago.
I was gone at the time, yes, but I did know he was here.
Yeah, Lionel Richie's still doing his thing, man. He's still sounding good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm really into all of the soldies.
Yeah.
All of the new wave soul that's out there, the new oldies.
Yeah.
Los Yesterdays and These Sinceres, and big shout out to Joey Quinones, who did the music for my hat video. Did you see the hat video?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That he did the original song, Drifting on a Memory.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I even told him, Joey, what made you use the Isley Brothers Drifting on a Memory title in the song?
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't know the Isley Brothers did a song called Drifting on a Memory is one of their biggest songs. It was completely he was unaware of the fact that title came from them.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful song. So yeah, I love all that stuff. I just saw Los Yesterdays the first time they came here, and I just saw Joey and These Sinceres over at Jaime's place a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
it's great.
stuff.
So it's nice to see they're coming to San Antonio too.
Oh, definitely. I was going to ask you a question because you're a big fan of film. You love actors and all that, passionate. what is one of your favorite films of all time that if you see it on TV, you got to watch it, man?
Oh my God. There's so many films that I love. You know, there's this movie called The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. And this is what I love about it. It's a black and white film from the 1940s. It's a love story between a man and a woman. But there's just one catch. The man is not in the flesh anymore, and the woman is. So the theme of it is like, well, a bird may love a fish, but where the hell are they going to live?
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
And it's just so beautiful to see the course of the movie, the way that it goes, and how it ends up that they get together.
Yeah. That sounds interesting, man.
Imagine you're dead and you come
Yeah.
back and this woman has moved into your old house
Yeah.
that you love so much. A single woman with a young daughter.
Yeah.
And, you're upset that she's in there. It's your house.
Yeah.
But she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And over time, you decide you're going to make yourself known to her. And they develop this relationship. And he dictates this book to her that she writes because she needs money.
Yeah.
And this book becomes a big success because it's all about a sailor's life, which is him, a real man, a sailor, right? So nobody can believe that this prim and proper woman from 1910 or whatever it is that the story takes place in has written this bawdy book about this sailor who'd been with all these women, and he's always cussing in the book, and then looking at her, Miss Prim and Proper, and thinking, how the hell did you write this? It's just an example of great writing, great acting, production, direction, lighting, camera work. Everything is so perfect.
Wow.
And I just love watching movies like that. That's just one, but there's so many that they're like desert island movies. I can just watch them over and over. To me, the greatest compliment you can pay a movie is the fact that you can repeated viewings.
Yeah.
You can just watch it.
Yeah.
You've seen it. You can't even count how many times.
Yeah. My grandma, who's no longer with us, she passed away many years ago. When I was younger, she would wake me up late at night because I used to stay at my grandma's house with my aunts on occasion, me and my sister. And they would always have this like old cinema that used to come out, old movies on PBS late at night, around 11 o'clock, 10:30 at night. So my grandma would wake me up and she'd be like, "Ándale, mijo. Vamos a ver unas vistas." I'm like, "All right, grandma, let's watch." And she always had like candies and snacks hidden in her knitting yarn and all that. Nobody knew about it, but grandma had like this secret compartment. She would put her finger in there and she would pull it up and she would pull out all the snacks and everything she had for me. And one of our favorite movies that we used to watch, I have this memory till this day, Casablanca. She loved Casablanca.
I can watch that movie over and over, and sometimes I'll see things that I've never noticed before.
Yeah.
That movie is so good. The writing of that movie, the acting, the performances, amazing. The camera work.
Yeah.
Humphrey Bogart's probably my favorite role.
Yeah.
He was so good in so many movies, but God, Casablanca is just amazing.
Yeah.
And on the set, the two of them weren't really very warm to each other.
Yeah.
Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, but in the movie,
it's magic.
They light that screen on fire.
Yeah,
it's kind of like An Officer and a Gentleman with Deborah Winger and Richard Gere, and they didn't get along either.
Yeah,
but in the movie, you would never ever know.
True.
No.
Yeah.
You totally believe in their love for each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
So,
Casablanca,
beautiful movie.
Yeah.
I even have the soundtrack on CD. If I don't feel like watching the movie, I'll just put the soundtrack on.
Yes.
Right.
That's one of the ones that I'll watch every now and then, get to remember my grandmother by. But I also like it just from, like you said, from the production standpoint of it's just such a beautiful story and a beautiful movie that was shot, the cinematography, everything. It was just transcendent. You can watch it and people still love it to this day.
Oh yeah. It's an amazing film, and the way it just moves along, it just chugs along from scene to scene.
Yeah,
is just incredible.
Another one that I just recently saw that they're bringing back to theaters now, as Phantom Events brings these old films back in the theaters.
Yes,
Lawrence of Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I was looking at it, on the big screen because I was watching another old movie with my buddies.
David Lean.
Yes, and I was looking at it and I was taken aback by the cinematography work they did of this film back then using their technology. and being able to grab the scope of what it's like to live in the desert.
Yeah, but
You
that
know?
was shot in 70 millimeters.
Yeah.
So one frame of that film is huge.
Yeah.
That's a big movie in every
Big
sense of the
production.
world.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's known for making big movies like that.
Yeah.
Dr. Zhivago, Ryan's Daughter, and all that. But my favorite movie of his is a very little, small, intimate little black and white movie about a relationship between a man and a woman, but they're not married to each other. They're married to other people.
Oh, wow.
And they meet and fall in love.
How about that?
They never get together, but it's called Brief Encounter.
Huh.
And it's a classic David Lean movie. Classic. That's another one I can watch over and over again.
Yeah.
You know what? So I can't really understand when young people tell me they can't watch black and white movies.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Black and white
man.
movies are so much more realistic.
Yeah.
Color is just like, it's so much information. It's everywhere. So I can't focus on color. When I see black and white, I just zero in on those performances because there's nothing else to distract my eye.
Yeah.
I mean, I love color movies, don't get me wrong, but I have to say that black and white for me just really hits home.
Yeah, I also liked it like back then in the Renaissance area, like of Hollywood, how everything felt real. Like the sets were real, everything was real. It had that authentic feel to it.
And
So,
the beautiful lighting.
yeah,
The lighting in Casablanca. Oh my God.
the romantic lighting.
and the moody lighting, the shades
Yeah.
and the shadows.
Yeah,
The kind of noirish look that it has, even though it's not a noir film,
yeah,
but it has that kind of look to it.
yeah. And just little things. I get my love for film from my grandmother because we watched all those
Oh, God,
old movies
God bless
together.
Granny. She had excellent taste. Excellent
Yeah,
taste.
excellent
If
taste.
you're listening, Granny, we love you.
We
and
love you.
your
Yeah.
taste in movies is just
Yeah.
exquisite.
And it was funny because we'd go from watching that, and then she'd love Godzilla movies. So
Mm.
she liked the monster movies. So
Me
she'd be like,
too.
"Let's watch this now." I'm like, "Okay."
All those classic Japanese movies from the 50s,
Yeah.
man, the best.
Yep, exactly. And we still watch them today. They have the new Godzilla -1 that
Okay.
recently came out on Netflix. Really solid film. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
And another one from back then I love, a black and white movie, is The Bad Seed.
Oh, I watched that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
The Bad Seed is a
Give
good
me
one.
those shoes, Leroy. Give me those shoes.
Y'all
Oh
gotta
my
watch
God,
these films.
She used to
Oh,
scare the what out of me when I was a kid. She was frightening.
Oh man.
I love it.
Anyway,
I love it. Hey, so it's about that time to wrap up. Here's a movie
God.
that I can watch over and over, American Me.
Yeah,
It really is, and I'm not just saying that because I mean that. I really do. I grew up on American Me. Again, I'm 40 years old, so American Me 92. I was 10, 11, 12 years old, and that just struck with me. So movies like American Me, to me are my black and white movies.
Mhm.
So and then you got to understand that, right? We're bringing that back together. You guys are talking about all these black and white movies and the movies that resonated with you. With a lot of folks in my generation and our generation, American Me is that black and white movie.
well,
Is that black and white movie that resonated with me, that our grandparents, our parents sat us and watched us.
yes.
So that's a connection we have.
The color that you see in American Me is kind of muted,
Right.
and it's not like the color you
Mhm.
see in movies today.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because you're talking about a 35
Sure.
millimeter
Yeah,
film, not
yeah.
digital.
Yeah. It's not bright at all, but
No.
but it's by design.
Yeah, by
Yeah,
design.
yeah.
It's,
And when I say it's
it's
our
not-
black and white, I mean that as,
It is.
as an
It's-
analogy. But
it's-
you're
I
but it
agree.
is.
It's color as though it were black and white.
Right. Yeah. No, it is.
That's
yeah.
how it was designed to
For
be.
sure. For sure.
If color was black and white, that's how it would look.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That nickname for the cinematographer on that movie, they used to call him the Prince of Darkness.
I like that.
Ray, wherever you are, God bless you.
I like that. I like that. All right, we're gonna wrap up, Joe.
Oh,
this
I've
is
had
awesome.
so much fun.
This
Thank
is
you
awesome.
So much.
You know, okay, so
really
so-
enjoyed it.
a background of our podcast here. Our host Mike Jimenez, who took the day off today, worked in radio in San Antonio for many years. He split from radio and started this podcast about a year ago with Joe.
Yeah.
Right?
Get out of the pool,
about-
Mike.
about a
Get
year.
out of the pool.
Yeah.
You'll start cramping. You'll start cramping. I know. Trust me.
So about a year ago, we're about 900 and so deep.
912, I
subscribers.
believe it was
We're
now.
hoping
Yeah.
to get about 1,000 subscribers here
Wow, that's
in the month,
great.
just in a
Yeah,
year.
just in a year.
We've had some great folks on this show, right? We've had boxing legend Jesse James Lejan. We've had Texas wrestling family
The
lore,
Von Erichs.
the Von Erichs. We've had Goldberg wrestling and
Frank Harris.
UTSA star. Now, but I will say you are the first in studio guest.
Yep.
In the flesh.
Yep.
In the flesh.
No
here.
way.
So
Yep.
we would not want any better
Wow.
in studio guest than Danny De La Paz. So
Yeah.
thank you for being
I knew I
representing.
should have darkened my mustache. Damn.
But it's been an honor to have
It's
you.
been
in
an honor and
studio.
a privilege to have you,
Thank
man.
you very
Thank
much.
so
I had a
much.
great time.
Yeah. Any last
And
parting
the-
words are yours?
The Topo Chico was fabulous.
Thanks to Steph. Thanks to Steph. So again, I'm Rick Fernandez on the X, on the Twitter. The man behind the magic is Joe Garcia. The beautiful, talented Steph, aka Chicana Fuerte, on videography and doing her thing.
Yeah.
And of course, Dan De La Paz.
I'm
You
at
get the last words.
Facebook.com/AtomBoy13, ATOMBOY13, and Instagram at Big Puppet, one word.
Yeah, please follow Big Puppet on Instagram. He's amazing. He's a vibe.
And my website is DDLP, like Danny De La Paz,
Mhm.
merch, DDLPmerch.com.
Yep. Hit up
Thank you.
DDLPmerch.com to get some merch from Dan De La Paz and Traders Village. This
Traders
weekend
Village.
or in mid-July.
Yeah, or mid-July.
Come find him. He'll sign everything. He'll take a picture with you. It's a vibe.
And remember, pass the wire, tell a friend.
$45 make you want to holler.
$45 make you want to holla.
All right, guys. We'll see you all on Monday. You all have a great weekend. We're out, but you know what? Happy Father's Day to everybody out
Happy
there.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Enjoy your Sunday.
Stay puro.
Ciao.
Yep. We're out.